Kathleen, you've been involved in the creation of many ETFs. Tell us what's going on now. What can advisors expect to see over the next year or so in the way of new ETFs?
Well, there are a lot of people betting that you may see the beginnings of active non-transparent ETFs. There's a debate as to whether those will happen or not, but they may happen within this year. So that would be one thing worth watching.
But they would be as transparent as a regular 40 Act fund.
That's correct.
Just not daily.
That's correct. They would be as transparent as a normal mutual fund, but no more transparent, unlike regular ETFs, which now are daily transparent. So that's why some of us call them non-transparent, although it's less transparent. It's perhaps a better explanation. Translucent. I think there are a number of people who have interesting projects going on. On the panel we talked about earlier today, some of them are still in secret filing, so we don't know what they are. But I think the economic climate has facilitated people getting back into product development. There was a time, the past 2 years or so, where people didn't create that many new products. They were kind of sitting it out, waiting to see where things would go. But my sense is lots of people are now back in the saddle, creating new products.
But going back to the sort of the non-transparent ones that would be sort of as transparent as a mutual fund, what would be the advantage or disadvantage of that from the advisor's or investor's point of view?
Well, that's a good question, because usually what you hear about is why it's an advantage from the portfolio manager's point of view, which is they feel they are constricted if they have daily transparency because they can't necessarily buy and sell without triggering a market impact. And so they feel that they can operate much more like a regular mutual fund by only having to disclose their portfolio quarterly. So their answer would be, you'll get a better product because we won't be signaling the market, so we'll get better price execution, we'll buy things at a better cost, and so therefore we'll be able to manage it better without giving away our special sauce.
And also theoretically, they would be less prone to liquidity problems in a sense, right? They could buy and sell when they think it's better to buy and sell.
That's right. And also they would claim that people won't front run them either. So you get all of those issues there. It remains to be seen if that in fact is the case, but that's certainly what they think.
And would the cost structure of those be less than a conventional mutual fund? The fact that they're this is like the closest to a conventional mutual fund that there'll be in the ETF structure.
I think it will depend on whether or not they will try to remain true to the in-kind redemption and creation, or whether they'll use mostly cash. Because the original ETF, the SPDR, was conceived as being something that would have almost no friction, because the contribution of the portfolio would be in kind, either giving it out or taking it back. And so you wouldn't have any transaction costs, you wouldn't have any brokerage costs, you wouldn't have any of those costs. Many portfolio managers now for ETFs do in kind and in cash, or some of them even do all cash, depending on what kind of a product they have. And if the portfolio components aren't liquid enough, then they may use cash. So depending on how this thing is managed, if it's mostly in kind, it'll probably be on the lower side. If it's mostly in cash, it'll probably be on the higher side.
Terrific.
Would be my guess.
Well, thank you so much for shedding light on to what's coming.
Thank you.
At the ETF Bootcamp, this is Evan Cooper for Asset TV.